Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of HR to CHRO Podcast. And today we have Ms Priya Prasad with us. She started her career with M2S Consulting, then she was in Datamatics, Repro India, SBI General Insurance, Access Securities, and then she was CHRO at Indostar Capital Finance, and currently she is CHRO at People Home Finance. So, welcome, Priya. Thanks for giving us time.
Thanks, Amit. Thanks for having me in this platform.
All
My
right.
pleasure.
Thank you. So, to start with, Priya, why HR? Why did you decide to start your career in HR?
Well, that's a very interesting question. Uh, Honestly, it was not a thought through career choice for me, honestly. And I was more keen for getting into medicine, and somewhere in my academic career, I decided that I'm maybe not meant for that. It's not so that I didn't qualify for that, I did, but then I decided I will drop out of medical studies. And then I was a little confused what to do, honestly, while pursuing my graduation. And while doing my graduation, I decided that I want to do my MBA. And when I went into MBA, I was not sure what specialization I should be taking. It started from that. I'm being absolutely honest and candid over here. So I really wanted to get into computer science, and I realized I have half my batch who are engineers, and who all are getting into computer science. And then I realized marketing is not my cup of tea. Finance is something I had never studied. I have always been a science student. So uh, people intrigue me a lot. And that's when I thought, like, let me get into human resources. That is something which suits my temperament, interest, and that sounds very interesting. Having no background in HR before that, or maybe human psychology, it was very exciting for me to get into this line of career, because I was exposed to absolutely unknowns. I had no idea how things work in corporate world, and I realized that HR is one string which ties the organization together. And that's how I landed in HR. And I think I'm really glad that I got into HR. When I talk to someone these days and people ask me, I always say that I think I can actually say now, after 2 years, 20 years of experience, that this was my true calling. Maybe I am maybe over exaggerating, but this is what it is. And uh, HR is something wherein whatever you do, it has to do with people, right? You have to
Correct.
deal with people.
Correct.
And that's what the basic premise of being in human resources. You're dealing with people day in and day out.
Correct.
So this really excites me. There's a lot you can do in this space, and very exciting career journey, I would
See, I'm sure. And you talked about medicine, but being in
say.
HR, where you are interacting with people, and in a way, you are taking away their pain, their sorrow related to their work by formulating those policies, by creating an environment which makes them perform better. So, in a way, it's I mean, all the departments, even though we are supposed to earn money for the organization, for the shareholders, but taking care of people happens to a bigger extent when one is in HR. So I think your desire to help people is somewhere getting fulfilled.
Indeed, indeed, I would say. So, dealing with people, when you go for medicine studies or MBBS, you deal with people at the end of the day. Deal with live human beings, and maybe the exterior of it. But when you are talking about human resources, you are going a little deeper inside and then dealing with them.
Correct.
Indeed.
Correct. All right. So see, only 0.5% people they reach the CXO level, Priya.
Mm-hmm.
And I
I am
believe
not aware about that.
no,
That is
I read a
interesting.
report, a statistic somewhere that it's only 0.5% people who reach the CXO level. So and see when you started your career 22 years back, 20 odd years back, um, it was even more difficult for girls to reach the CXO level. Or you would not find, I will not say difficult at so that I don't sound wrong, but you did not find too
You're
many
absolutely
girls there that time. So it must have been that much more difficult for girls to, that time. Maybe it may be different now, but the challenges would be more so. So, uh, what has been your secret of success to help you reach the CXO level, Priya?
It's an open secret, I would say. And I think whatever we intend to pursue in life, if we pursue it with full honesty, with full dedication and commitment, and not only that, I think one has to be open to keep learning throughout the life. The day you decide that aham brahmasmi, iske baad to kuch bacha nahi hai सीखने के लिए, it gets difficult. So you have to keep learning, keep exploring yourself. That is the only thing. Your intent has to be right. Your purpose has to be there. So I think that purpose in life, finding that purpose in life is also very important. Uh, if you don't have the purpose, you do not know what you are chasing in life, what you want to have, which gives you actually satisfaction at the end of the day. So
Hmm.
that purpose is important. And one thing I always say that making best out of the West. So waste is something which will always be there around you. Whatever situation is there, we keep complaining about that, right? That this did not work out, that did not work out. You have to make best of whatever opportunities you get, whatever situation you are in. So that is, I think, has been something which has been really working well with me. Uh, if I can share with
Yes,
your
yes, please.
permission, I uh, I did my MBA from Calcutta, and as you rightly mentioned, that coming from uh, an era maybe wherein girls were not going out enough, studying out. So I yes, I did go out of my house from the comfort of my house to Calcutta, and that was around 22 years ago. And I was the first girl to leave the town from my house. It was a joint
Okay.
family of more than two dozen people with more than a dozen girls in the house. I was the first girl to leave the house. Yes, and after that, while pursuing my MBA, I got married. I had wonderful children in the process. I took career breaks, not only maternity breaks, because then it used to be only 3 months
Correct.
maternity leave. So I had to take career breaks because I did not have family support. Uh, Family, as in extended family, yes, my husband has always been very supportive. I had created my own support system, but having said that, I didn't have family support, and I was away from home, working and everything. So I kept taking intermittent breaks. So the other secret sauce, per se, if you say, is that everyone travels in their own time zone.
Okay.
But it's very important that you don't miss the timeline when it comes. The milestones have to keep coming in that time zone. So you have to keep plugging in those milestones in your career journey or in your personal journey, wherein you keep achieving something or the other. It may be a personal achievement, it may be a professional achievement. So it's up to you. But keep achieving, have small targets. You can't achieve everything at one go, right? It's not something wherein you are chasing day in and day out. You can't do that. You have to take right breaks whenever required. You have to then uh, take energy from those breaks and move forward. That's very important.
Can you give us some
That,
example of this, Priya?
as I said, like I had two career breaks, and with both my sons, I had to take these breaks. But that did not stop me from coming back to the corporate world. First time when I did that, it was at the very beginning of my career. I was almost on a break of more than a year, and then I realized that I have to get back to work, and I had to create my support system first. That was also learning how to
Mm-hmm.
create your support system.
Mm-hmm.
For women, I think it's very, very important that creating the support system, whatever resources you have available from. So I did that. I gave my best when I was at work.
Mm-hmm.
I was very clear that the I may not be able to uh, get into stretched working hours with a small baby, but I was very committed with whatever work I was doing. I made sure that I am meeting all the deliverables and I am over delivering.
Very nice.
And maybe that push that I had a career break was a big push for me. I would go all out to make sure that I'll keep learning. I'll ask questions because if you see my career trajectory, I have worked in different industries
Correct.
throughout. I've
Correct.
never repeated an industry per se. And even now, when I am part of housing finance, and before that, I was with another NBFC Indostar, which was into used commercial vehicles. That was altogether a different, I would say,
Product line.
experience.
Correct.
Absolutely different product lines. So you have to keep learning. And whatever time we are at work, utilize your time appropriately. Don't waste time because we have limited hours. We talk about work-life balance. I can understand there can be situations wherein you are stretching, you are working through the weekends, you are working extended hours, but that will not always be the case. How you optimize your time is very, very important. And keep learning something, keep reading about the industry, what's happening in the industry you operate in, because human resources uh, is industry agnostic, I would say,
Correct.
right? But you should learn about the business you are in. If you are able to talk with your people in their language, in the business they are in, the business they understand, that establishes connect. So keep learning about the industry. So I went to the when I was with Repro, I went to the press, printing press,
Very
and
nice.
I learned how the entire cycle happens.
Okay.
Uh, uh, how does things work in resource pool management in an IT company? It was
Very
an
nice.
altogether different experience. How do you manage your bench? How do you cross train your people? It was a different experience for me, developing the entire application for that with the IT team. So I used to do all that. So I
Very
would
nice.
not say that I would have great milestones or great stories to tell, but wherever I was optimizing on it. When I joined SBI General Insurance after my second break, I honestly had I think I mentioned that finance was not my cup of tea. I had never studied that. General insurance, BFSI segment. I learned how the entire channel works,
Very nice.
what are the types of insurances are there, how does it work, what is the product cycle, what is the push product for me, what is the pull product for me. So learning how the business functions is very, very important. That's a huge learning and that adds a lot of value. Even if you change industry, it really enriches you. And you have to keep enriching yourself.
Correct.
So
Very
that's
nice.
what it is, I believe.
So you talked about creating the support system when you were coming back from the career break, and which resonates with what you said earlier, that best out of the waste. So the best what you can do. So one thing I find very interesting, Priya, is over delivery and optimizing the time. So what tools were you using to deliver over and above the requirement, which we can share with maybe the young professionals who would be watching this podcast?
There are a lot of tools available now, I believe. And honestly, there are a lot of tools and applications available. But what tool which has really worked with me is discipline. There is no substitute to that, I would say.
Correct.
Whatever tools you will have at your hand, if you don't have discipline in life, it's very difficult. Uh, uh, Being a young mother to very small two children, I had to stay disciplined. And for me, discipline doesn't limit myself from with respect to the working hours or something, even in my personal space, even in my personal fitness journey. I'm very conscious. Healthy mind can really thrive in a healthy body.
Correct.
And I believe in that. So creating your time in a manner where whatever application or tool you may use, and see these days you have like Chat GPT, you can use Copilot, so that you can just avoid doing a redundant or monotonous job. You can optimize these applications and do whatever you want. There's so much ease right now. There is calendar, you can actually calendarize your thing. It's very basic actually. But you
Correct.
have to follow the discipline at the end of the day. These things will only help you to the extent wherein they will nudge you, they will send you notifications, they will ease your work. But then unless you have the intent, you have the discipline, you will not go anywhere with all these things.
Correct.
So I think discipline has something been very core for me. And planning the weekdays, planning weekends, how I can, and till date, I have this habit of writing my diary, like diary as in the work diary. So I do that. I really do that. So I make a note in my diary that what all things are, or I use some apps as well to maintain my work deliverables. And that doesn't contain only my work deliverables, that contains my personal deliverables as well.
Very nice. See, the reason I'm asking this, Priya, is, see, we use we use mind programming techniques. We train teams and leaders to become more productive
Mhm.
on measurable metrics. Now, when I'm talking during the so before the interventions, when we do the diagnostics, or during the time of the intervention, also whenever I'm talking with the male participants, it's
Mhm.
very easy to rewire their brain to help them become more productive because they waste so much time. Many
Mhm.
of them, or most of them, they'll watch Instagram at night before going to sleep for half an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever, web series. They'll take coffee breaks, they'll take cigarette breaks during the day, and so many other things. So it's very easy to help them, take out half an hour, 1 hour, or even more,
Mhm.
at least in a week, or maybe 1 hour per day. It's very easy. Now, coming to girls, when you're talking about female participants, I struggle to find out how do I make them more productive because they already are so productive. They'll, in the morning they'll look after the house, they'll look after the food, they'll get everybody ready, then they'll go and work, and then they'll come back, they'll check the kids' homework, and they'll look after the. So, so you talked about planning your weekends, planning your week, your coming day. Could you share some more thoughts on that? Because this is so very powerful, and I can assure you, in my experience, 90% of the people don't plan. See, our brains are not wired to do planning. We don't like planning. We, as as animal instinct that we have, we are not wired to do that. So planning is something which is very powerful. And you mentioned that with discipline, your planning and your writing your diary helped you. So some more thoughts on that.
Well, I would say that I have picking up the words from you only. I have really, and it's a journey. It doesn't happen over a day or over a week or something. You have to keep rewiring your brain. You have to keep telling yourself that this is what you need to be. I spoke about purpose also. If you know your purpose in life, if in my personal space, my purpose is to be an extraordinary mother, I would go all out for that. I will not talk about the professional world because there are a lot of comparables, and there are so many people doing so well, so many women doing so well. But I'm just giving an example. So you have to plan out, and how you do that. Like I have this habit, like I have to spend certain hours towards fitness, towards pursuing my hobby, because this gives you mental satisfaction. Many people talk about the benefits of meditation, and that is true. I am not someone who actually meditates, but then I can vouch for that. I'm into uh, artwork. I do paint, and I like running, and I believe that works like meditation. So pursuing one hobby
Mhm.
which lets be with yourself to
Mhm.
rewire your thought process is also very important, because that really calms you down. And when you're calmed down, you're not anxious. You can plan better. You
Correct.
can think forward. You can address a problem at maybe work front or even at personal front in a very different manner. So addressing those problem statements, which gives you a solution, is also part of that discipline. Because if you yourself are not structured, your thoughts will go here and there, and if you're uh, preoccupied with multiple things, you can't think straightforward. I know these days, like there's so much exposure to OTT and Insta and all these things, but everyone has to limit their time to some extent. Good to have, if that calms your brain, it's good, but it shouldn't be done in a way wherein it's overextended. So there has to be a balance. Like honestly, I have even I use Insta and all these apps, so I have time check on all my
Very
such
nice.
apps.
Very nice.
So I do that. Otherwise, it's human brain, right?
Correct.
It seeks pleasure in
Correct.
whatever manner it can. So it
Correct.
has to stop at some point of time, and I am proud to say that I learned that from my son.
Okay.
So he does that, and even to his games and everything, whatever he plays, he has a time check in everything. And I was really inspired. So the learning can come from any pocket actually. You have to be open to learn from where you can learn.
So how do
Uh,
you specifically talking about planning, Priya? So
mhm.
weekly plan. So you do it on Sunday or Saturday or how do you schedule time for important tasks, or how do you go about it?
Well, there is certain routine in my life for sure, and Sundays I try to go through my calendar for the next week so that I am aware that what all is coming up if I need to prep up for something. And I try to clear my emails by Friday evening for sure. Nothing pending for the weekend. If there is something pending, I try to clear it. Sunday I take out an hour if I feel there is something important, or Saturday if there is something coming up, I clear my mails. I believe in clearing up my mails on regular basis so that things are not getting accumulated with at my end. If I have to do some real brain work wherein I need to put my thoughts together, clear the noise around, I block my own calendar. I sit through quietly and finish off that work.
Very nice.
Uh, Similarly, when it comes to house management, I usually plan a day before that what is to be cooked at home and what all things are there in my children's calendar which needs my immediate attention. So that I do. And I have to because women are, I think, by default multitaskers. So
Correct.
that comes naturally to some extent. Uh, that happens. And yes, coming to the fitness also, I know these are the days I'll go for running. When it comes to artwork, I know I have to take out at least half an hour a day to devote to my artwork. And
Very nice.
it may sound very mechanical to some people, but when you practice, it comes very naturally.
Correct.
It's not an effort for me. I
Correct.
know if I want to do it, I will do it. And if I don't want to do it, come what may, whatever environment I get, such a beautiful environment will be around, but still my mind will be somewhere else.
Correct.
So it's only about I think rewiring and training your brain, and it started I think long ago when I had my first child, and I realized that I have to be ready for the entire week. What is to be cooked, what is not to be done, how I plan my child's schedule so that he's busy in the evening and not missing me out. So I had actually planned. It starts from there actually. Every day I had put out an activity class for him so that he's rightly occupied and I am not bothered about him. Then I can concentrate at work. So these are linked, these plans. Because if I am bothered of what he must be doing or whether he is watching too much TV or what, if I'm, my mind will obviously be there, right, as a mother.
Correct.
But if I know he's rightly engaged, so I am also like relaxed. I can focus at my work. What I have to wear, as simple as that. I plan a night before every time
Very nice.
and I will never struggle for clothes that what I have to wear. No, never.
Very nice.
I believe in if I have to attend some social commitments, I know what I have to do, where I have to go. Plan before. And
Very
it
nice.
saves a lot of time. Then you can actually have a lot of time to plan, do so
Correct.
many things. There's so
Correct.
many things to be done.
Correct.
That's these are very small things actually. I am not talking about a great theory or something. I do not have a great theory around it. This is just, as I said, maybe discipline is something which has kicked in sometime in my life, and I have been following that.
I think what I so see beauty lies in small details, because once the small details are taken care of, the larger things automatically get sorted out. But what I
Correct.
find very interesting is purpose. You spoke about purpose, and it so resonates with me. Now, uh, how do we, let's say we are talking about a young corporate professional, maybe an HR professional, or who
Mhm.
has just started his or her career.
Mhm.
It may be difficult for that person to define the purpose he or she may have. How can that person decide what is their purpose in life?
Mhm. Um, Purpose is a very big word. It's a very big statement to make that I have defined the purpose of my life. It's a never-ending journey. You have to keep seeking yourself. And when I say purpose, these are small milestones that we have to keep defining. And I'll just give you a small example. When I started with the running thing, um, I never thought that I'll ever be able to run half marathon. And when I started, within 3 months, I could do my first half marathon.
Very nice.
And how I used to run, it's very funny actually. So I would look at the immediate next person in front of me, and I would think that I should at least try to cross him or her. So I will keep doing that. I'll keep doing that, and I'll ultimately reach the end point. So you have to keep identifying your targets, the small targets, achievable targets to achieve that end goal. And one of my senior colleagues, he always says that it's not a sprint. Life is not a sprint. It's a marathon.
Correct.
Prepare yourself. And he really means it that prepare yourself well. You can't run a marathon in a day. It requires
Correct.
its own time, it requires its own preparation, it requires its own energy and focus.
Correct.
And you need to be really disciplined to do that.
So what's
So
your
there are a lot of,
what's your PB in half marathon, Priya?
sorry,
What's your PB?
oh, it's bad still.
So before pandemic, I also used to run half marathons.
It will be embarrassing to share that, but I think the best was 2 hours 45 minutes because I never had a group. I used to run on my own, and
You know, the
my
ability
only
to
aim was to do that.
ability for a working professional who's a mother to take out time to train, because I know how tough it is. Like I said, I also used to run half marathons before pandemic. So it's
Yeah,
really, it's commendable, Priya. Okay, so see, another thing we discussed
I
was,
ran many, but I could never surpass the 45, by the way.
it's a very good time. So my last half marathon was 2 hours 50 minutes maybe, because then I had started taking it very easy. I wasn't preparing that much because time had become a constraint. But anyway, so I also want to discuss about, you talked about knowing about business. So when you were in the manufacturing, printing, you would go and try to understand business at the shop floor. In finance also, and I find it very interesting. See, almost all the CHROs we are interacting with now, this is such a huge change. See, when I started my career, HR was taken as a support function, and I was in sales. So in most of the companies, it wasn't very looked at with huge respect. HR. Cut to now, where HR is like a strategic business partner, and they have inputs for almost everything, every phase, every cycle of business. So again, this is so very interesting because um, how important is it for young HR professionals to start learning about business, to start knowing about business, and how can they go about it?
But as I mentioned, that talking in the language of business really helps you to establish a connect, initial
Correct,
connect.
correct.
And for a young professional, there are a lot of means actually. So the companies conduct induction program, structured induction program, wherein they teach a lot about the company's philosophy and the journey and the kind of products, policies, uh, modalities they have to operate business, the regulations around it, the compliances around it. So one has to keep the mind open.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be open to ask questions. If they think that I'll be judged for asking the question in a forum, I think that's where the learning stops. The moment you think that you know everything, or the moment you think that you will be judged, you will never be able to learn, is my thought process. So you have to be open to asking questions. There are usually a lot of self-paced learning modules available right now in the uh, industry and in the market, and there are a lot of free courses also available.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, One can even go to ChatGPT and give a search, write prompts. They can learn a lot about the business. What
Mm-hmm.
are the keywords used? Because what happens when you are talking to business professionals, they are using jargon,
Mm-hmm.
right? One might not know the meaning of those jargons, but I've seen
Correct.
very senior people also asking questions, and I think that's the right way. If you're not understanding a jargon, how it's getting calculated, because if you not only understanding again business and the industry, but also understanding data is
Mm-hmm.
very important. One has to be data agile. This is, I think that is something I feel that being in any line of profession, it's very important that you should understand what your data is. And for HR, all the more, because you're dealing with a lot of numbers day in and day out, not the headcount, a lot of matrices, a lot of business numbers, and if you're not able to make sense out of it, you will be clueless. So one has to stay curious and be courageous to ask the question. That
Can
is
you,
very important.
can you
And
give, sorry.
it should not stop only at the induction or the period thereafter. It should keep continuing. Have right interactions, share ideas. And I think there are a lot of knowledge sharing platforms these days wherein people can ask and get their questions answered. The organizations also conduct a lot of programs, wherein training programs, wherein people can self dominate and participate and learn a lot. So keep learning is the key, and keep asking questions, keep testing your knowledge base,
I
because
understand.
if you understand how the business works, it will be easy for you as an HR professional to understand what is the people requirement in our business. What kind of people we need, what kind of policies we need, what kind of practices we need, how we can make the lives better with the right intervention. So obviously, training is learning is important, and understanding data. The third thing is empathize, empathize, and it starts with yourself. Empathize with yourself, be empathetic to others, because if you remain human at your core, you will remain pure. So that positivity will attract, I think, a lot of positivity.
Correct, correct. So, so again, data agile. So, can you give us some example where the ability to understand data helped you take HR decisions better, maybe in the earlier organizations, if not the current one, which will
Mhm.
be very beneficial for young listeners on why they need to be data savvy.
Uh, I'll go back to my previous organization. When I joined, I was actually I have a couple of such experiences. Uh, Let me share this one, and then I'll
Correct.
share one more. Uh, I realize our attrition rate has gone very high. So I really wanted to get into the details, what's going wrong, where it's going wrong. So I started studying then I started reading the early mortality, like why I have so much infant attrition in the organization. Then getting in deeper into the data cut, that really throws you a lot of insight. And if you're able to make sense out of it, you can intervene appropriately. So very small things that you need to address, that what are the pockets. Suppose from a certain geography you are getting a manager level issue.
Mm-hmm.
Who is the manager? What is the problem? Where
Mm-hmm.
it's going wrong? If
Mm-hmm.
certain geography is not doing well and there the attrition is high, then you can link the two things. In fact,
Correct.
in one of the organizations, I've also done the study between the engagement level and the attrition level, how it's correlated, and it, it holds true.
Obviously.
If,
Correct.
yeah, if your engagement level is high in a certain pocket, obviously the uh, engagement overall will be high and attrition will be low. This is
Correct.
one of the things. In one of the other organization in customer care unit, we realized there was like more than 50% infant mortality. So when we said that there is something, then I started studying things, started reading the exit interview analysis. I realized that there was a challenge with the incentive program. People were not able to make enough out of the incentive program, and if they are not able to earn incentive, that means they are not performing. They are labeled as underperformers. They will be put on PIP, and before that, they would like to exit. So that was a major insight, that our incentive program needs to be restructured. How do we do that with the business? So the entire intervention actually helped us to curb the attrition rate. Similarly, in one of the functions, and mostly has started with the attrition rate for me, the engagement level was very low. We did a study, and one thing which came out, that technology was weak in that function. The platform they were using was not good enough. They were not getting any enough support from the tech team, and that's what was not letting me a high performer, or it was kind of hindrance in their deliverable, because the technology was an important aspect. So you get a lot of insights from data, and then you have to correlate these things with the engagement levels, with the business performance and everything. So if you're able to draw those correlations, you can take right intervention. Suppose if I am seeing that my mid-level people are moving at 2 3 years window, I'm losing people. maybe I need to intervene with the talent development program so that they see their career journey clearly,
Correct.
right? So these are some of the examples I am throwing, but then uh, this is important. Similarly, this is one of the things, but apart from that, even when it comes to compensation benchmarking, it's pure play data.
Correct.
Performance management, it's pure play data. You have to understand, you have to be fair, making sure people would talk about rating distribution curve and all those things. But at the end of the day, it has to make sense from the data perspective. It can't happen that everyone is a poor performer or everyone is a super performer, right? There has to be some correlation with the org level performance. So how org performance is tied to the individual performance or the unit performance or the departmental performance. These things are very, very critical and they are all interlinked. And unless you understand what business we are in, what kind of performance matrices we have, how it's linked to the departments or the units performance, and what kind of outcomes it can derive from there. So all the linkages are there, which is very important to be understood.
Very nice. So you talked about having a calm mind so that you are able to define the problem statement right and then work on finding the solution. So data along with the calmness of mind helps
Yeah,
identify the problem better and then the right
certainly.
intervention to.
I'm a huge fan of data. Data eligibility is something I encourage all my team members to understand data. And I think I have been talking to my uh, CPO, and I keep telling him that I want to have all predictive indicators in
Correct.
the organization. And we had a very nice chat on this subject, that how uh, behaviors are linked to the outcomes, or vice versa, whichever way you want to put
Correct.
it.
Correct.
So my data should throw that where I am getting early uh, warning signals, or how I will know that this unit is going to perform or this geography is going to perform better, which hiring will result in better productivity or outcome, and what kind of, like, there are a lot of matrices that you can work on with data
Correct. Correct.
and do wonders for the organization.
Correct. So it's very important for the young HR professionals or young professionals in any department. See, when I was working as an area sales manager in the insurance industry, so I was the only one who was using pivot
Mhm.
tables, Excel pivot tables, and which would tell you that how many checks are getting bounced at the sales officer level, and which was, the data was getting lost because it would happen after the report would come from the operations after a month, and then by then the sales manager would have forgotten that which sales officer's check has got bounced, and it would get lost in the system. But with the data analysis, you are able to point it out within a week. So you
If
you
I
have.
can add to your experience, so in one of my experience with GI, I was also leading the Salesforce effectiveness, and we used to have monthly balance scorecard, performance till the last level getting published to the individual. Not only that, since we had access to the huge data pool, I was also assigned the task of running business campaigns. So obviously, I had a very strong data team to do that. Um, but that was the year we ran almost 20 sales campaigns,
Very nice.
and that was the first year we could do that. And that was that is something I'm really proud of, because that was not only a milestone for the organization, that was a milestone for me as well. I had never thought that I'll be able to run a business function, subset of business function, in a manner which in wherein the outcomes are so directly linked. And we really used to analyze that which is the geography doing well on which business function, and why it's going wrong, what we can do, what kind of incentives or we can launch, what kind of campaigns we can launch, what kind of contests we can do, what kind of levels of rewards and recognition we should have to engage with people and keep recognizing them, and wherever it's not happening, why it's not happening, and how we can transform the story. So totally resonate.
Very nice. So you're talking about taking up additional challenge over and above the HR functions and looking at your career journey also, like you said, you shifted from one industry to another. So taking up challenging tasks, how important is that for career growth, Priya?
I keep telling my young team members, never uh, underestimate a work. It can be a very small work. It may look very menial on the face of it. And I tell these MBAs and all that, you may feel that, oh, this is such a silly thing I've been assigned and this doesn't have any value. Why I'm supposed to do this? It's a very routine, operational kind of job, but there's nothing operational. With
Correct.
everything one is learning, you have to keep open. And from there, you can do so many things. The moment you think, as I said earlier, again, I'm repeating, at sake of reiterating, अहम ब्रह्मास्मि वाले फ्रेम से ना निकलना बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है.
Correct. Correct.
Because you have to keep accepting the challenges and the tasks assigned to you. You might
Correct.
not know how it's adding value to you today, and might not be beneficial the next day or the next week or the next month. But you never know when you will make use of this learning. And every learning is important. And see, there are a lot of people who are doing amazing work at strategic level and doing wonders. But at the same time, uh, if you've done it yourself, you would know the depth of it, the details of it, and you will never go wrong.
Correct.
Your strategy will be backed by a very, very strong executional skill as well.
Correct.
So I think it's important that to learn things and don't underestimate a work. Whatever work is assigned, do it with open mind. Uh, Recently, I told one of my team members, young MBA professional, first job, that I want this policy. How will you do it? Uh, she gave me a look. She had no clue what is to be done. And I told her, ChatGPT देखा है ना, just go and do some reading. It will not only help you draft the policy, you will learn about a topic that you had never heard of.
Correct.
So and honestly, like I'm not promoting ChatGPT as such, but having said that, making use of technology.
Correct. Correct.
There are a lot of such things which gives you so much ease of work and it helps you to learn faster. So right now there is a lot. In earlier days, when I'm sure you must have started your career, I would have started my career. Like we would have been had access to very few such
Correct.
applications. Knowing Excel would have been good enough, but then I think it doesn't help anymore.
Correct.
You have to keep learning things. So as you mentioned, we look up and all those things. So these are very small things. I see that many MBAs they also at times struggle with making a good presentation or making good use of data, working on Excel. These are very basic thing. Microsoft application is very basic thing, but be open to learn. Otherwise, you will not be able to write the vision and mission of the organization on the day one.
Correct.
Be open to learning. Whatever work is assigned, do with full commitment, full intent, and try to learn as much as possible. Don't do it as an executional thing and tick box activity. No, never do that.
Correct. Correct. See, unless so at the beyond mid level, unless your ground level experience is good, people generally flounder after the mid level because maybe their ground level experiences haven't been that enriching that is why their strategic skills are not that good. Maybe which is what I've experienced. See, what you're saying resonates so much with me, Priya, because in my first job, I remember I was in corporate sales, government sales, and corporate sales. So my boss asked me to get a tender by paying 5,000 rupees. So he gave me 5,000 rupees cash, asked me to go to Jhandewala in Delhi and get a tender from a government organization. And I came back and I was so pissed. And a peon could have gone and got the tender. Why did you send me? And then he patiently, very nice guy, Mr. Raman. So then he very patiently explained that he wanted me to build relationships with the people there. And that is the reason he had sent to me, because those relationships would come in handy when the tender gets opened. And also it's very powerful. Now, for the sake of learning of young professionals, we talked about learning about business, language of business, and we talked about self learning. Now, a young HR professional has anyway so much on his or her plate, the KPIs, the KRAs, then there are traffic issues in metros, time, and so how can he or she find time to one perform, do good in the domain that he or she is, and then find time to learn about business and find time to do self learning. You talked about discipline and time management. So some more thoughts on that at that level, before marriage, before things.
I believe in learning and at all levels, and some things have stayed with me. One of my managers, I worked with him for 2 3 years. I still consider him as my mentor, and I reach out to him, Mr. Srivastava, at any given point of time whenever I need any suggestion. So one thing that which has really stayed with me is knowing what to do is important. Knowing what not to do is also very
Very
important.
nice.
So uh, everyone knows what I have to do, but what I don't have to do, people don't think about that. So knowing what not to do and when not to do, what is right, what is wrong, what is to be done, not to be done, and when to say no. You should know when to say no. If you are able to prioritize your work, it's very simple. So, like the critical, important, and not important, not
Correct.
critical. Very simple thing. Uh, I think beginning of my career in one of the training sessions, he said that. So that is another tool to optimize on your time. And there's so much expectations on personal front and professional front. So it's important that how do we prioritize our day, our calendar, our routine, and what is taking how much time? Does it require that amount of time you mentioned about like getting into social media and all these things and killing times like half an hour goes into 1 hour and 2 hours? What happens at the end of the day? You're losing your sleep. You're not sleeping enough. You're tired the next day. So it's important that you have to put a cut to it. You can have a leisure time over the weekend and all, but then if you're really wanting to be at your best, and similarly, like there are a lot of commitments these days on social side, personal side, professional side. So how do you do that? You have to again carve out the time, right? You have to prioritize. Can you be present everywhere at one point of time? No, you can't. So what is your priority in life? If the personal life is your priority, make it a priority. And since I've taken my career breaks, I can say that all the more with more conviction, I would say that if that was my priority at that point of time, that I have to stay around with my young children, I did that. But when I came back, I worked with the full conviction, whatever hours I was spending in the office. The other day, I was actually telling someone that I always used to get my leaves completely getting forwarded to the next year. So someone asked why. I said that I used to keep thinking that I should save all the leaves for my children because they are small and I might need them any point of time. Thankfully, they never fell so sick that I had to take them. But then I
Thank,
would have enough, so
thanks to
I would
God.
plan my calendar appropriately. Similarly, for vacations, I know we are four of us and everyone has their busy calendar, so we have to plan these things in advance.
Correct.
Even on personal front, if you're planning a vacation, and
Correct.
these days people are they believe in they're earning not only for earning, they're earning to spend also, right?
Correct.
So it's important that you should know that how you want to save enough, because that is another challenge with the young professionals, that they earn well and they spend also well.
Correct.
So there has to be a habit of saving also. I think it's very old school of thoughts, but then I believe in that. We are not in a job wherein you are going to get, we are not in pensionable services, right? So
Correct.
we have to be financially also wise. That financial literacy is also very important. That how we are spending, how much we are spending. So it has to be a little thought through the entire thing. How we are planning our finances, our personal space, our learning journeys, our professional world. So there has to be some goal plan. I'm not saying that it has to be true to the T, but at least a fair idea. And it may sound very weird, but I tell people, if you're not able to think through, just write it down. At times, writing down gives a lot of clarity that what you want to do. We have moved away from that writing skill, right? That we
Correct.
don't write anymore.
Correct.
Do write down. It makes a lot of difference. It stays here, I believe.
In fact, I
So
was about to ask that you mentioned writing a diary. So
yeah,
handling distractions. So if you start just write at the end of the day that how much time did you spend in which all activities, and you do that for a week, you'll be able to find out how much time you are wasting in unnecessary
exactly.
non-critical tasks. So
Exactly. So that's what I said. Critical, important, not critical, not important, not urgent, urgent, important. A lot of matrices, right? You can just see how it works. And it works really well. These tools work really well at any stage of life. And it's not so that whoever has reached the top level are necessarily high performers,
correct.
right? So there can be different journeys for different people. But having said that, if someone is stuck, they do not feel that they are getting into the right direction, they should actually give it a thought where they're spending their time, how they're spending their time, what are the outcomes, are they achieving the outcomes?
So are we saying that these life skills, financial knowledge or financial acumen, or as simple as writing a diary, discipline. So a young corporate professional should maybe work on these life skills also at the start of the journey and keep on revisiting them.
Very much. Uh, because it's about, again, building habits. If you're used to a certain kind of lifestyle or way of working, it's very difficult. Earlier, you catch them young, as they say, right?
Correct.
So if you catch them young, you can still some of the good habits. There's some nice books also actually around these things.
But reading has gone out of fashion, I can tell you.
As I said, I am old school.
No, but there are
Uh,
people can listen to audiobooks now. The
they can
technology is
listen
so.
to podcasts while on their way. Like there's so much you can do with the
You were
technology.
you were
If
talking
you
about the
really
books.
like, yeah, you can ask the ChatGPT or Grok to summarize a book for you if you don't have enough time. They will throw you a good summary. You can listen to your podcast. You can make use of your travel time in the metros, and you have to just, as I said, optimize your time. Right?
You were
You
about
have
to
to
name
catch up
some.
with your family is back in town. You call them on your way back,
Right.
so that once you reach home, you're done with that chore. So. Uh,
Were you about to name some books when I asked a question? There are some good books. You were saying something.
I think Atomic Habits is one
Okay.
I really like.
Okay.
Very simple but nice.
All right. You also talked about mentors. How
Yeah.
powerful or how important is having a mentor and how to go about it?
Finding a mentor is not easy, and not necessarily it has to be some stalwart. It has to be a person who can help you go deeper in yourself, who can ask you right questions to get your answers. And it's not necessary that you should have a mentor to move forward in life, but then if you are able to find one and who is also available, I think it's a blessing. It's a blessing. And because what happens many a times, we don't know. We think a lot, right? As human being,
Correct.
that, oh, how do I ask this? Whom do I ask this? Shall I ask this? And what will the other person think? But I think mentors are people who don't judge you, who help you find your answers you're seeking. And that resolves so much internal conflict.
Correct.
Um, and as I said, that I consider this person as my mentor. Uh, for me, for him, maybe I might not be his mentee, but then I've always considered him a guru, and I reach out to him, and I learned a lot under him in 2 3 years I worked with him. He actually challenged me in a way wherein I was forced to think beyond whatever I was doing. And I remember this was way back in data matrix, and he used to tell me, Priya, if there is any mistake in your data, na, only you should be. No one else should. So I'm
Correct.
okay with you making any mistakes, but no one else should be pointing out to you. So you should know what you're doing, basically. Very small, simple questions he used to ask. If someone asks you, how's the temperature? You can't say it's very hot or cold. Be precise.
Correct.
Say
Correct.
that this is what the temperature is. So very small things, and these are some nudges. And he was the person who actually told us that what not to do. A very very beautiful anecdote he shared once. I do not know whether he remembers this or not, but I'm going to certainly share this with him. Uh, he used to keep a photograph in his drawer, and someone asked him that why do you keep his this photo in your drawer? He said that this is a reminder to myself that I don't want to be that person. So, what kind of manager you want to be? When we all start, we all are individual contributors. When we want to be a, while we want to be a manager, what kind of manager we want to be is also very important. You have to be someone who is approachable. You have to be someone who has to be maybe more knowledgeable than your team, who has to
Correct.
be more empathetic and compassionate to your team. Someone who can stand by you, someone who can take decisions for you when required, someone who can actually inspire you. So, these are some of the learnings from the mentors.
So, see, you talked about that getting a good mentor is very difficult, but you also talked about the propensity to over deliver. So are the two linked? Because if you are over delivering in your earlier jobs, in your starting jobs, then people get impressed and they would be willing to mentor you, or they would come out on their own to try to mentor you. So is over delivering. See, generally the mindset is that I have to work 5 days a week and then I have to enjoy on the weekend. So over delivering maybe is getting out of fashion, but again, maybe it's linked to purpose that one has. But how important is over delivering not only for the career growth directly, but also indirectly by helping getting a mentor?
I would not say over delivering is very important to getting a mentor, and mm, more than over delivering, I think attitude is important. So if you have the right attitude towards work, towards people, towards your organization, towards things at large in life, I think one can find a mentor. It's not so difficult, and you don't have to be necessarily a high performer.
Okay,
Uh, you have to strike the right. I do not know if the choice of word is right or not, but right chemistry with the person,
okay,
right? So someone who is more knowledgeable and you can look up to when you seek advice. Uh, I am also actually on my journey for coaching certification, so some of the things are coming from there. But what I have realized that if someone, if you have that mentor who can listen to you, who can empathize with you, who can strike a rapport with you, and who can help you find your answers, I think that's what is important. Obviously, people find it difficult to be mentor to someone who is non-performer, but largely I feel that people are not underperformers. It's a situation which maybe makes them underperformer, unless someone is a real laggard. So, and again, that comes from the intent. If the intent is there, people do that.
correct. So we
So,
have we
and
have already
the
all
organizations tag mentors, right?
correct.
So, but then considering someone as my mentor is also very important. Organizations may tag people, but that chemistry is important.
Correct. So, see, we have talked about purpose in life, honesty, dedication, learning, intent, satisfaction, getting best out of the waste, and the small goals. So, anything else that you would like to address to the young HR professionals? Because we have been talking for almost an hour now, and we have to,
Mm.
you know.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
So, anything
Uh,
else you would like to address?
See, these days, I believe the HR curriculum is quite enriched, and it's very good, much evolved than what we used to study uh, in like 2 decades ago. And not only the curriculum, but the ecosystem has evolved a lot. Uh, Human resources professionals, there were very few institutes earlier. Now there are so many institutes.
Correct.
So we have a lot of options. I think pursuing a degree is also very important. Academics are important. Uh, it's not so that people who have not pursued their MBA in HR they are not up to the mark. They are actually very good. But I believe education really sets your base right. So when you are pursuing your curriculum, do it with the right intent. Go deeper into the theories because that's your only window. Once you move out of your college, you will not get enough time to get into theories. So it's
Correct.
important that get into theories, understand the deeper meanings when you are going for your internships. Learn as much as possible. Ask as many questions as you can think of. Explore areas beyond whatever has been assigned to. Interact with people. Don't stop at yourself. Don't consider it a 9 to 6 job wherein you're getting paid stagnant. No, never do that. Talk to people as much as possible. That's a huge learning. Uh, Also, young HR professionals, when you come to the corporate world, come with a very open mindset. Don't think that you will be expected to write some beautiful HR strategies on the day one. It can be a very menial looking
Correct.
task or assignment on the day one. But be open, learn as much as possible. Again, interact with people, interact with other functions. Because if you're joining an empty batch, suppose, you'll have people from the other functions also. Talk to them, understand what work do they do, because they will be learning the basics of their function. So you get the opportunity to learn about things as much as possible. Keep reading. I know it's tough. Keep listening to the good podcasts. Attend forums. You get to learn a lot from these forums. There are a lot of virtual forums. There are a lot of physical forums and webinars and workshops which are conducted. Any particular area within HR which really excites you, make an effort, go for higher certifications, degrees, wherever required. Because as I said in the beginning, that theory is to help. Suppose someone started with the talent acquisition, you want to get into coding, right? So start understanding your organization's framework, understand how things can be done and what is there in it for you and how you can bring value to the team. Reach out to your seniors for any work assignments wherein you feel there is an opportunity. It has worked with me.
Correct.
I've gone ahead and asked that I would like to do that. Someone resigned and I said I want that profile. I have done that multiple times because that's how you learn. If you really are looking at getting into CHRO journey or table, you have to go through each of these functions. Don't limit yourself. I mean, see, people have their own journey, right? Someone wants to be a performance management specialist, so someone wants to be a payroll specialist, someone wants to be a talent acquisition specialist. So, whatever area you identify for yourself, which is wherein you have your competency strong over there, invest in yourself. So, keep investing in yourself in the entire journey, and that will help you grow. And well, keep wishing yourself good luck all the while.
Empathize with yourself.
Exactly.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Priya. So it has been more than an hour since we started talking, and it has been a very fruitful and I'm sure very educative discussion for the young HR professionals who are going to be watching this discussion. So thanks for giving us time, Priya. So nice of you.
Thanks, Amit. Thanks for having me here. And I hope I make even a small difference to these young HR professionals for this conversation. It will be an achievement and a good investment of time.
Thank you. Thank you, Priya.